This chart illustrates a mathematical reality over a 1-year timeline. Improving by 1% each day makes you nearly 37 times better. Declining by 1% daily drops your baseline to 0. The gap is massive, yet daily inputs are imperceptible. To get onto that upward curve, we must abandon traditional willpower. Relying on motivation requires constant energy that eventually depletes. Instead, we will engineer a personalized, brain science-backed habit system that functions entirely on autopilot, effortlessly driving your daily actions. Let's build that system right now. Grab a pen and a blank piece of paper. Write down 2 specific items: one positive habit you want to start building today, and one negative habit you want to permanently break. Physically writing these down takes them out of your head, transforming abstract desires into concrete targets. These 2 behaviors are the raw materials we are going to use for the engineering process. Look at the positive habit you wrote down. Whatever goal that habit is attached to, running a marathon, writing a book, losing weight, cross it out. Replace it with an identity statement. Write down the type of person who achieves that goal. Looking at this diagram in the center, we see the core flaw of traditional goal setting. You do not magically rise to your aspirations when things get difficult. You fall to the level of your daily systems. A goal is a singular outcome, but a system is the repeatable process that actually gets you there. Moving down to these concentric circles, we see the mechanics of identity first change. By shifting your focus to who you want to become rather than what you want to achieve, you alter your internal narrative. The identity itself drives the required process. When you identify as a runner, going for a jog is no longer a chore you endure to hit a target metric. It is simply undeniable evidence that proves your new identity is real. Now, write out an equation on your paper. We are going to link your new identity-based behavior directly to an established, non-negotiable routine you already do every single day, like making coffee or brushing your teeth. This specific icon represents habit stacking. The psychology here is highly efficient. By appending your new behavior onto an existing neural pathway, initiating the task becomes obvious and automatic. You don't have to remember to do it. The old habit triggers the new one. Right next to it, the headphones icon illustrates temptation bundling. Write down a highly desired activity, like listening to a specific podcast or watching a certain show, and restrict it so you only consume it while executing your new habit. Next, look at your new positive habit and shrink it down. Aggressively scale the physical action until it takes exactly 120 seconds or less to complete. Read a book becomes read 1 page. Moving down to the stopwatch icon, we see the strict logic of the 2-minute rule. You must master the initial 2 minutes of a habit before the full behavior can be optimized or expanded. You are establishing the baseline. Combining a pre-existing trigger with a 2-minute barrier to entry neutralizes the brain's natural resistance to burning energy. You have made the starting line effortless to cross. This calendar graphic illustrates the next requirement. Draw a simple 7-day checkbox grid right next to your 2-minute habit equation. Marking a physical checkbox takes a second, but it provides a distinct, immediate dopamine hit. It satisfies the brain's craving for completion, while you wait for the long-term structural changes to compound. This graph detailing the valley of disappointment highlights the critical failure zone for most people. This shaded area represents the time frame where consistent effort is being expended daily, but the visible results remain entirely delayed. The visual tracker is your psychological bridge over this valley. It gives you tangible, daily proof that your underlying system is functioning exactly as designed, even when the mirror or the bank account hasn't caught up yet. Now, pivot to the negative habit you wrote down earlier. I want you to devise and write down one specific, immediate way to increase the physical friction for that exact behavior today. Looking at the bottom right section, we see the first half of the inversion method for breaking bad habits. You identify the initial environmental cues that trigger the behavior and intentionally modify your surroundings to make those cues completely invisible and unattractive. Moving to the final 2 steps, you actively construct barriers to make the bad habit physically difficult to execute. Finally, you ensure that if you do complete the bad habit, the resulting outcome is immediately unsatisfying. True behavior change is rarely a matter of moral fortitude. It is strictly an engineering challenge. You maximize the friction for bad habits, and you systematically eliminate the friction for good ones. Review the paper in front of you. You no longer have a singular, vague goal. You possess a structured, daily operational schematic designed to bypass your brain's resistance to change. The math of the 1% rule is a certainty. These newly engineered gears are the exact mechanism required to steadily surpass your original goals, quietly compounding your results while you focus entirely on the system. Take that piece of paper and physically attach it to a high-visibility area right now, a bathroom mirror, your computer monitor, or the front door. Then execute your very first 2-minute habit today. You are no longer relying on a sudden burst of motivation. You have officially engineered your own success.